Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Zoe here, and today we are going to be analyzing a poem. So get comfortable, grab your tea, do whatever you need to do. Hopefully next time we do this, I'll be in my bedroom, but the decor is not quite where I want it to be yet, so we're gonna hold off on that. So as I said, or maybe I didn't say yet, regardless, today we're going to be analyzing a poem called Spade, which I will put on the screen. I will also go ahead and read it for you, just for the sake of getting us in the mood, getting us in the poetic rhythm, pun intended. I've been planting row after row, that endless resource that's always so short in supply. I don't want to hide mine anymore, so I've outgrown my field, this unlimited yield. I can't see over hedges, it's dropping from branches. This love that I grew for myself, won't you take it? And though I don't need it, I'm praying that one day you'll restore my well, or I'll be dispelled, and my will depleted. The seeds you can keep them, but wind won't allow me to stay where I'm not well, received in a bottle. The spirits I swallow, they mutter your name, and I feel your graze like a ghost who refuses to sweep me away when the mess has been made, with you wielding my spade. Okay, so I love this poem for a few reasons, but I'm gonna try to stay as organized as possible in our discussion. So just broadly, I wanna think about what that poem makes us feel, how it makes us feel, what context we're thinking, what mood we're thinking, what tone we're thinking, all of those kind of big picture rhetorical analysis questions. And when I wrote this poem, I felt like I was in some musical theater setting. Like I could imagine some girl in like an Oklahoma style dress, like standing in a field, like hands over her heart, like staring longingly at the sky. I've been planting. But, you know, way better than that, obviously. Just very like longing and yearning. And then the energy kind of picks up as the poem goes on. Let's talk about what's happening in this poem. This poem, it takes us on a journey. We're in a place. This isn't a poem that only exists in your head or in your heart and your feelings. We are somewhere. And at the beginning, it seems like we're in a garden. She says, I've been planting row after row. Okay, I feel like I'm in a garden. And then as the speaker continues, the garden begins to expand into something that seems really big, a field or something maybe even bigger than that. Words like endless and outgrown and unlimited make it feel much larger than just a little personal garden. And then even after that, as the poem goes on, our setting seems to grow even more. She can't see over hedges. It's dropping from branches, whatever it is. We haven't even gotten there yet. I love that imagery because it's showing us there's so much of this crop. And not only is there so much of it, it's like ready. It's ready for the taking, for the harvesting. For a crop, for a fruit, for whatever this is to be dropping from branches. It's harvest season. We're in it, okay? But at the same time, at this part in the poem, we haven't even named what we're planting. I've been planting row after row, that endless resource. That endless resource, that can be literally anything. It's a resource, okay? That always seems so short in supply. I don't want to hide mine anymore, so So there's also some tension here with the growth. There's some suspense. Like, girl, what are you talking about? I don't know, but that tension and that suspense helps to build the energy that is kind of gradually increasing over the length of the poem. And we're about to get to that all suspenseful, mysterious but I don't want to get ahead of ourselves because then we'll miss some important juxtaposition that's going on. We said that this resource is endless, that endless resource, but then right after we say that, we say it's always so short in supply. And I've also been hiding mine. I've been hiding this resource, and yet it's everywhere, and yet it's short in supply, and yet, like, there's a lot of contrast going in here. There's a lot of juxtaposition, which again helps to build suspense and create tension in the poem, which we can imagine is also a tension that the speaker is feeling within. I know, very poetic, very 11th grade English teacher of me. What can I say? I learned from the best. So by this point in the poem, do we have any guesses about what this mysterious crop is? I'll give you one guess. It's love, right? Of course, this is poetry. What we're talking about is love. And so now that we know that, before we even go into the rest of the poem, let's insert love as a noun, as a thing, into the poem where we've been getting these vague references. So I've been planting row after row, love, that endless love, that's always so short in supply. Ooh. I've been planting endless love. There's this endless love. This love is endless, but it's also short in supply. I don't want to hide mine anymore. So I've outgrown my field. I'm overflowing with love. I've outgrown my field. I'm overflowing with love. It's unlimited yield. I will never run out of it. I can't see over hedges. It's dropping from branches. You know, and here's why I love poetry, because that might be really romantic. I can't see over hedges. It's dropping from branches. Or it might be really suffocating and toxic and all-consuming in a way that maybe isn't so positive. I don't know. And why are we using this planting metaphor to begin with? I could just say, I'm gonna talk about the speaker in the third person. The speaker could just say she has so much love to give and there's so much love in the world, but there's also so many shortages, whoa, what's that word? Shortage, it doesn't matter, of love and something, yada, yada, yada. But what is the planting metaphor doing for us here? What is the garden, field, what is that doing for us here? Because although poetry isn't literal, although it's not literal, most poets probably do want you to think of at least one literal application. And I would guess that this speaker is no different. So what do you guys think? Like, what is it about planting row after row of love? I think maybe one explanation could be she's just spreading her kindness everywhere. She's so, a compliment for you, a gift for you. It might also be seen as an investment. I feel like at least in the Bible, you see a lot of like parables, I guess, talking about planting as an investment into the future. So maybe it's more so more negative connotation, like I'm giving you this love because I want to gain something from you in the future. So I'm investing in you. I'm investing in people and I'm investing in relationships because I want something in the future. So that's a much less, kind of happy explanation. But what I think this metaphor is actually doing for us, is actually referring to, is the process of doing inner work, the process of doing self-work, self-healing. Perhaps the garden is within. She's planting the seeds, doing the work, reading the books, whatever, to get to a place where love abounds within, which should mean greater love for all, which maybe is why we get to a point where she's overflowing. It can't only exist within herself. It has to be given and spread. She has been focusing on herself, I think. That's been working out for her. She has a lot of love now, but then she starts to yearn. She wants to be a giver. She's in her lover girl era, and now she's literally overcome, almost burdened with this desire to give what she has inside to whomever this you character is. And that feeling it's uncontainable. It's dropping from branches. She can't see over hedges. She can't see clearly because of all this love. I don't know, that's something to ponder on. Endless resource. Love is infinite. That's always so short in supply, but it's also, it can be hard to come by at the same time. I don't know. Okay, let's move on. So then we go, this love that I grew for myself. Yes, the self-love. Won't you take it? I did this work for myself. She did this work for herself, but now she's offering it up to someone who maybe hasn't done this work for themselves. And though I don't need it, I'm praying that one day you'll restore my well. So at this point, she thinks that she has so much to give. She doesn't even need the person to reciprocate, really. Here she's saying, and though I don't need this love that I'm giving, I'm praying that one day you'll restore my well. So I'm praying that one day you'll return the favor. That seems clear enough. I want you to love me too. Who wouldn't? Or I'll be dispelled. Okay, so now we're getting into drama core. Homegirl is being a little bit dramatic. Let's just give definitions for some of these words so we can see just how dramatic she's being. Dispel, make disappear. So I guess perhaps I'll leave you, or I'll be dispelled. Maybe it won't be my doing. Maybe it'll be not my choice. But perhaps we'll get to that later. And my will depleted. So now we're really dramatic. If you don't return this love, I will be forced to disappear, and I will have no will left. I will have no motivation left. Okay, are you sure that it's unlimited? Are you sure that it's endless? Because now our speaker, she's getting a little bit unreliable. Not in like a terrible person way, just in like a, yeah, you can't see over hedges. We see it, girl. You can't see over hedges. And my will depleted. The seeds, you can keep them, but wind won't allow me to stay where I'm not well. So the seeds, you can keep them. She must be saying that she already gave you something. She already gave you these seeds. And she's saying she doesn't want them back. So I've already planted seeds of love within you. There's already something there. There's already something budding or something. I'm still in my hyper confident era, so that's okay. So I can lose a couple of resources here and there because I have so much. I'm willing to invest in you and let it fail, or let me not be the beneficiary, because I've been planting row after row. So let's move on. The seeds, you can keep them, but wind won't allow me to stay where I'm not well. Okay, so there's a couple things going on here. To me, this reads as, if this isn't a good place for me, if for some reason this is unhealthy, this being whatever relationship this is now, whoever she's talking to, the you, if the relationship between me and you turns out to be unhealthy, wind won't allow me to stay. Wind, of course, being the forces above us that we can't see or control or anticipate coming in our day-to-day lives. You know, something above me is not going to let me stay. It is not a good place for me, regardless of what I've already invested in you, regardless of the seeds that I've already given you. Received in a bottle, the spirits I swallow. By the way I read this out loud, it should be clear that now that wind won't allow me to stay where I'm not well received, that also goes together. So where I'm not well and where I'm not well received. She's not persistent. She doesn't take to rejection. All it takes is one no. No means no. Wind won't allow me to stay where I'm not well received, and wind won't allow me to stay where I'm not well. One's about me, and one's about your reaction to me, which are two different things. I won't be here if something in my spirit rejects me being here, and I also won't be here if something in your spirit rejects me being here. So I like that line a lot. Received in a bottle, the spirits I swallow, they mutter your name, and I feel your graze. Like a ghost who refuses to sweep me away. Okay. I feel like this all kind of has to be read together for it to conjure an image. And here's the image I'm getting. Received in a bottle, that sounds like a message in a bottle. She's getting a message. Spirits I swallow makes me think of alcohol, because that's what alcohol stores are called. Liquor, wine, and spirits. There's something uninhibiting about being under an influence, if you know anything about that. I swallow these spirits and then mutter your name, and then feel your graze like a ghost. There's something very intangible about these last few lines. It's like feeling the presence of something, but not really being able to grasp it, from the wind to the spirits to the graze to the ghost. It's like we're being swept up, which is a line also, and something that we're sure is there, that we're sure we can feel, but we're not quite sure. We can't tell if we're making things up, if we're second guessing ourselves, if we're just telling ourselves things that we want to hear, or if the spirits are telling us things that we want to hear. So sweep me away here has two connotations, I think. One, sweep me away in the sense of just clean it up, be done with it. You know, move on, be done. And then also sweep me away as in like, wow, that swept me away. Like sweep me off my feet, like in love in some senses. Be so amazed, be so wowed. like very positive connotation, but the double meaning is what I want to emphasize. You refuse to either be done with me completely, just sweep it up, clean it up, be done, and you also refuse to love me completely. Take, like, I don't really know, I don't say, this is why poetry is useful, because there's not really a literal way to say what's happening here, but I think you understand. You refuse to commit in that way. You refuse to commit, and you also refuse to be done, clean it up, just be done. There's also, of course, like, a past connotation with the word ghost, also a haunting connotation, like this is something that I can't stop thinking about. Maybe that's just a really good imagery, which it might be. Okay, let's move on to the last couplet. Who refuses to sweep me away when the mess has been made? So that should clue you into the double meaning of sweep me away. With you wielding my spade. When the mess has been made, that means something bad happened. You refused to fix me, and you gave up. You were gone, and you're wielding my spade. So let's talk about that for a second. We haven't said anything about a spade before, but we started the beginning of this poem in a garden. What is a spade? It's a garden tool. So we can presume that in the garden I had a spade. At the end of the poem, you have my spade, and you're wielding it. What do you wield? You wield weapons. A mess has been made. You are wielding my weapon that I was using for loving purposes. I was using it to give love, to create love. And now you're wielding what I used. You're using it as a weapon, presumably against me. And now, I don't know, feeling your grace like a ghost, that's no longer feeling as like wistful. Like, you won't just leave me alone. Like, you're always just in my presence or in my memory, and for me to be aware of it, but not enough for me to like be able to tangibly do anything about it. So we got through the journey of the poem, and I think we could stop there. But there's also just some like language things that I want to highlight that don't necessarily add to the movement of the poem, but they do add to the feeling. They do add to the mood, the tone, and just the poetry of it all. So we can stay on this last page for now, I think, because a lot of it happens here. Using spirits and ghost is very intentional. Those words don't really like connect, but they create a tone, they create a mood. Feels kind of scary. When we started off so positively, you can tell that the tone shifts because of words like that. Throughout the poem, there's like not a super consistent rhyme scheme. Kind of. There's a lot of A-B-A-B and a lot of A-A-B-B. But at the end, all the rhymes have the same vowel sound, which to me, it makes it feel more intense, like we're really hammering something there. It sounds like the repetition of the A, graze, away, made, spade, name. There's also some slight alliteration, which I think helps to move the poem along nicely, rhythmically. Wind won't allow me to stay where I'm not well. It's a lot of W sounds in there. When the mess has been made, with you wielding my spade. I like the letter W. Another section I want to highlight is restore my well or I'll be dispelled and my will depleted, to see if you can keep them. The use of well and then will and dispelled and depleted. It just feels so nice in the mouth. It feels really good. Restore my well or I'll be dispelled, my will depleted. Yeah, I think that's great. I feel like I could keep talking, but I think I should stop while I'm ahead. And if there's anything else that stood out to you, comment it below. Or if there's any interpretation that you're wondering if I intended, or any entendre you're wondering if I intended, feel free to ask. This was fun. So I look forward to doing it again next week. If you haven't already, make sure you check out my visual audiobook. As of right now, parts 1 and 2 are out. Part 3 will be out on Sunday. So cheers to that, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.